Welcome back, guys. This is Maverick here with the finale of Kaguya-sama Season 2. So, unfortunately, as I mentioned last episode, I was out of town and I did not get back in time for the finale, so, here we are right now, right? But, let me tell you guys, I've been doing my damnedest to avoid any and all spoilers in regards to this episode, which is really hard considering how big a thing Kaguya actually is, and considering, like my Twitter feed, and I got some other friends related to anime, reactor friends as well, etc, etc. It's been tough, alright? But for you guys, I want to show off the full, authentic experience of going into this blind. And I'm sure probably most of you guys who are watching this right now have already watched this already, but hey, you get to see someone watch it fresh once again. In any case, last episode, we got the full backstory of Ishigami. It's quite sad, I guess you will say. I mean, I'm not the type to really go overboard with the crying and emotional stuff and whatnot, but all in all, I am glad that he is in a better place now. Ishigami's one awesome dude, right? I'll say that right up here, and I am looking forward to seeing how his story progresses forward as time goes on. With that being said, now that we are in the finale, what I assume that the story is going to go back right again to Kaguya and Shogane, as well as perhaps any kind of hints towards a third season. I would certainly not be surprised if there was one. But in any case, let's get into it and find out. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Alright. Everything seems to be working correctly. Oh. Did her dad give it to her? Miko and Ishigami. These two are absolutely gonna become a thing. Aww. That's pretty normal. Really? Or something like this. Nice trick. Principle. Alright, what about... You talk big, Ishigami. What about your photo? Herbert! She definitely seems the type who would get we get I mean, it happens actually. Hold that thought. The fuck? Right on the money. Anyways, like I was saying, Miko's definitely the type that would be tricked through scouts. And so like, oh man, I can't put together words right now. Ooh, nice atmosphere here. There you go, Dark Kaguya. Although, should we really call this Dark Kaguya? I mean, we need to have like a contrast with the Kaguya of old, right? Nice job, principal. So are you gonna do a thing about it, Kaguya? So not on media, but just a commemorative photo, right? Yeah. Ooh. Where'd it go? I'm guessing most likely her father gave that flip phone to her, judging from the flashback. Maybe the last thing he gave to her? I mean, personally, anyways. Oof. Should I use the Nokia? I think she's gonna start crying now. Is she? Though I am kind of like, obviously the photos mean a lot to her, but what about the phone itself? I think the phones can be retrievable. I mean, sorry, not the phone. The photos. Really? Check. 'That looks like a. Ah, see? The Xperia X2. Oh yeah. Ayasaka is kind of like a geek herself. Ah, a girl after my heart. Where is this story going? I actually have no idea what they're gonna do here. She's just gonna come up to her and then ask, right? Yeah. She's just gonna come up and ask. Investigative team. Roll out. She's lost all life in her eyes now. I should have been doing that a long time ago. Yeah, you can retake all the photos. Make some new photos, new memories. So it wasn't about the significance of the flip phone at all? I like how this is also a sort of flashback to this season. Nice. Aww. Look at that. Aw. And this gives the feeling of it being the last, last episode or something. I mean, technically it is, but you guys know what I mean. Okay, Miko definitely thought of something perverted right there. Hmm. Oh, 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 oh. That's how you play the game. Oh. So you're bad against this as well. There's a surprisingly lot of things that Shogun is bad at. Oh. Oh man, I wish Hayasaka was there right now. Oh. Actually, I think I know those two. They're from the news club, right? I think they're fans of Kaguya and Shogane. Oh. New Ishigami. Holy crap. Ooh. Oh. Whoa! Dang! She's a boss. You guys. Oh. 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 The prize is going to blow it up himself. So it seems that the the eyes are sort of like a hereditary genetic trait. Or is his father always sleeping? uh, uh, Wait, seriously? This is the ending? Yeah, I can barely see. I can barely see all these things. What? In this condition? And wait, what the hell happened to the school? Alright. I guess that's it. Alrighty, so apparently we end the season by blowing the school up, right? Not really, but I'm assuming that's. I guess it kind of ties back into season one with that ending as well, which was also a sort of a more ridiculous something that didn't really happen, but is sort of a representation of what's going on, right? And it's sort of representing the continued fight between the continued battle between Kaguya and Shirogane, the battle of love and whatnot, and how they're still trying to one up each other and all that. So it ties in with the style of the ending of the first season. However, with that being said, I kind of feel like it doesn't. There was a better way to go about this, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But before that, I want to quickly mention 4 things that I actually missed upon my initial watch, and I only noticed on my rewatch. So number one, actually number 1 and number 2 are both to deal with Fujiwara here. So in the first one, actually, the first one is when. When Kaguya got her new smartphone, and then the rest of the student council, they were preparing to upload their photos, right, into the shared album. Fujiwara actually pointed up, saying, we're going to upload them, and then above her were actually clouds, right? So, sort of like uploading into the cloud, if you will. So that was a nice little reference there that I didn't quite catch. Quite clever, I will say. And then the second thing is that when she was doing explaining or not really explaining, but naming the game that she wanted to play, right? She actually kept on making these kinds of gestures with her hand, which I didn't quite catch the first time through, but I guess that just further adds to the misunderstanding. So it actually got quite a chuckle out of me the second time I watched it. So that was something that I didn't quite catch since I was focusing on her words, but quite funny there as well. The third thing, it's not really a case where I couldn't catch it, but it was a case where I didn't have enough time to talk about it. When we saw Hayasaka with 2 girls leaning on her, and with them taking like a little nap or something, I believe those 2 are from the news club, who are also part of the Kaguya fan club, if you will. And and if that were the case, if it is those 2, then also they are the main characters / narrators of the spin-off. We want to talk about Kaguya. Now, I'm not entirely sure because I think their design is a little bit different. I'm not entirely sure if they are the same 2 girls I'm thinking of. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it would make sense for them to kind of be together, since Hayasaka is the third number 3 in the Kaguya fan club. Unwillingly, of course. And the final thing that I didn't quite catch the first time through is when Kaguya was presenting her QR code to Shogane, right? Because allowing Shogane to add her as friends online. And the quick way to go about that is to show someone else your QR code. They can just scan it and instantly add you as friends. So the QR code looked a little bit too complete for me. So I thought, hey, why not give it a try? I picked up my phone, tried to scan it, and lo and behold, it actually works. It actually takes you to the official Kaguya stickers on the Line store for use within the Line messaging app. Unfortunately, it actually links back to the first package. Back when it was released alongside the first season of the anime. They actually released a second pack as well, to also sort of like commemorate the second season of the anime. They only released it like less than a week ago, so I was expecting them to link to the second pack instead. But I'm guessing that the anime was finished before they had a chance to get all the procedures done and whatnot, before they had time to really generate the QR code, and so they just went ahead with the old version. So kind of disappointing there, but hey, it's quite a clever and creative use of advertising for themselves within the anime itself. So good on them. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's talk a little bit about this episode, right? And back to what I was saying initially, I kind of this episode is divided into basically two parts, right? We got the sort of story in regards to Kaguya's phone, and then the story with Fujiwara wanting to play this pumping game, if you will. And don't get me wrong, it's a hilarious game, but I just feel like putting it at the end of the second season doesn't really work quite as well as putting this phone story of Kaguya at the very end there. It just seemed like perfect and completely natural to be the ending or a conclusion to a specific arc, or in this case, like a specific season of anime, right? Because you got Kaguya front and center as the main character within the story. And then you also have you have her adorable innocent smile in there as well, and then you also have all the aspects of it being a good stopping point, right? It talks a little bit about her past, it talks a little bit about her present, it talks a little bit about things that she can look forward to, right? How she was in the past, where she was lonely, had no friends, kept to herself, cold, distant, etc., etc. How she is now, how she desires, how her insecurities, if you will, and how she desires to make these memories with her newfound friends, with the student council, and then moving forward, right? Yeah, they all accept this part of her. Not even through any conscious effort, but that's just who they are, and so we can expect them to build more and more memories, have more and more photos in the future as well, right? It's just a perfect ending to this particular season, to this particular arc, and it's a shame that they didn't actually put that as the last the very last story here, right? So I actually went back and checked the manga, and apparently in the manga it actually does serve as the very last story for, I believe, volume 10, right? So it's like I said, a very natural stopping point and something for you to go, oh man, that's so great. She's the characters are growing before us. They're getting, it's how can I put it? It's just a nice feeling of satisfaction, right? And so it can leave you all warm and fuzzy and giddy inside once you finish this particular series. So I don't know. Like I said, they might be trying to emulate the same sort of ending from season 1 and carry it over. But personally, I would have preferred if they put the phone arc at the very end instead. Not to mention, it was actually perfect for even another reason, because when they started uploading all the photos, right, and then as Kaguya was scrolling through them, it actually served as a recap as well, right? It's sort of like a recap episode of everything that we've done this season, right? All the stories that we went through, all the hardships or all the funny moments that they shared with each other, and it's just a great way to end this. How cool would it be if Kaguya was looking through it and it being sort of like a highlight reel? Sure, it's been done a million times before, right? But here they actually have a perfectly valid excuse to do it, and not utilizing it. I just think it's such a shame that they disappointing is what I will say. But anyways, that's just my personal opinion. Of course, if you guys think that this ending or the last story that they chose fitted better, do let me know. I want to hear your guys' opinions as well. I'm personally on team putting the phone story at the end there. As for the rest of the actual episode, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, not really too much to talk about. I will say I was kind of surprised that we didn't get a little bit more something, like sort of like a hidden story or whatnot in regards to Kaguya's phone, especially with that flashback at the beginning there with showing how she got her first flip phone at the age of 5 and then been using it ever since. I actually thought it had something of a sentimental value to her, and maybe something to deal with her family or her upbringing or something like that. And that's why she was so reluctant to throw it out, even beyond just her not particularly needing a smartphone, right? In fact, I thought that was actually part of the story. I might be getting my memories a little bit mixed up, but I thought that was actually part of the reason why she didn't want to change the phone in the first place as well. Do correct me if I'm wrong, by the way. But so in the end, it turned out to be really straightforward. It's just the fact that she had a lot of memories of these current people, of the current student council within it, and so that was why she was so depressed and down. So, I mean, obviously I'm expecting that as well, but I thought there was even a little bit more something to it. But, oh well. So that's the only specific observation I would have from that. I guess in terms of trivia, we can quickly talk about what kind of phones they're all using now, which has no relevance whatsoever to the story. But I thought it's kind of fun, especially. I mean, you guys saw how I reacted during the Hayasaka scene, right? While she was geeking out over the specifications of the phones and whatnot. So I'm also someone who with me having Hayasaka as best girl, I feel like I'm obligated to sort of show off my geeky side as well. So the phones they were using, Ino and Fujiwara, they were both using iPhones. No surprise there. In fact, Kaguya, I would have expected Kaguya to pick an iPhone as well, but she isn't your typically normal high school student, high school girl, right? So of course she's choosing something from the Sony lineup, same as Shirogane. I believe Shirogane is actually using one of the Xperia XZ series. I used one of the same phones as well. I'm not entirely sure what exact model it is, but one of the Xperia XZ series. And I believe Kaguya, the phone that she chose in the end, or Hayasaka chose for her, is probably the Xperia XZ3, or yeah, I think that's or the XA3, whatever, one of those, anyways. But from the same sort of Xperia X line, if you will. So there we go. That's a little bit of trivia for you guys. Oh, Ishigami's phone actually surprised me the most. That one I had to look up because that was a pretty cool looking phone. And honestly, part of the reason why I'm saying this trivia right now is because I actually tried to look up Ishigami's phone. Apparently, he's carrying a BlackBerry Priv, I believe it's called, which is, you know. Wow, really? Ishigami carrying a BlackBerry? I would have never expected that out of him. You would have thought that I would have thought that he might be carrying a phone that was more suitable for gaming or something like that. But okay, a BlackBerry, if you will. Cool dude, right? So yeah, that pretty much covers it for this episode. As for this season as a whole, right? We definitely got a lot more into the sort of deeper aspects of the story now, right? First season was really a lot more about the humor and the comedy aspect. Sure, there were hints here and there of some deeper storyline and whatnot, particularly Kaguya's past, Ishigami's past, stuff like that. But for the most part, it was still, we only touched a little bit into it. Whereas in this particular season, we dove really deep into Ino's story. We dove pretty deep into Ishigami's story as well. And yeah, I'm definitely, it's something that's adding a lot of depth to the story, right? We're definitely not only supposed to look at this from a purely how should I call it, comedy perspective. Well, I guess season 1 had the entire fireworks arc, which is quite quite romantic as well, if you will. So I mean, I guess it's not really fair to compare season 1 of season 2, especially since you have the fireworks arc and whatnot. Just from an emotional standpoint, I feel like even if you were to compare the sort of phone arc with the fireworks arc, I think the fireworks arc for most people would probably still be a lot more impactful, just because of how romantic the entire thing is. Whereas you literally can consider it as something like a Cinderella story, right? Whereas in this one, it's a lot more realistic, I think it would be the word to say. But of course, the impact and the implications is still there, and it's still something which allows us to carry the story along and allow us to really, how should I say this? Push Kaguya along with her personal development as well, right? So yeah, that's basically the contrast between season 1 and season 2. Season 2 story got a lot deeper, but in terms of the pure comedy and stuff, I think season 1 was still a bit better in that regards. Don't get me wrong, season 2 is definitely funny as well, but just because of the, how should I call it, because of the proportions, if you will. And so what will happen in season 3? Well, is there going to be a season 3? Unfortunately, I don't know. I tried looking around at some different online sources. Apparently, there hasn't been an official announcement for a season 3 yet. Now, I don't think it's too far-fetched to say it will have a season 3, considering how popular this series actually is. So, no, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I'm certainly expecting something like that to happen sometime soon. Although it is disappointing that they didn't announce one directly after the end of this season, as they did back in season 1 with the movie and all, right? So yeah, there we go. That's it for Kaguya-sama. If there are any of you guys who are actually only here starting from this particular season, feel free to check out my other works as well. I do only blind reactions. Well, I guess 99% blind reactions for everything. I do like to focus a little bit more on the discussion and analysis part as well. Obviously, for Kaguya-sama, there's less to do of that, but you know, for other series that deals more with world mechanics, world building, stuff like that, mystery, then I will dive a little bit deeper there, right? And if you like that kind of style, do consider subscribing and checking out my other works. And if not, well, I hope I will see you guys again sometime soon. That's it for now. This is Maverick signing off. Bye bye.